next guest on the show today is someone who you wouldn't possibly usually see on the India development debate. But hey, it's Friday. I think after nearly 50 days in lockdown, we all deserve a smile on our faces. And that's what my next guest has been doing. I'm talking to Danish Sait. He's become an overnight sensation and pretty much the voice of the lockdown. All on Twitter, Insta, on social media. Danish, great to have you on the show.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think it is extremely overwhelming and lovely that you call me the voice of the lockdown. Honestly, that wasn't a part of the plan. I was just trying to have fun. And the next thing I know is every other news channel is like, so how are you doing this? And I'm like,
no, I'll tell you why every other news channel is asking you that. Because you're picking the big topic of the day, the most newsy topic of the day, and turning it into a 1-minute video.
Yeah.
While we spend all day figuring out how to tell our viewers what happened. So you're basically doing our job and making people laugh at it.
So you know what, to begin with, thank you. I must say the real inspiration and the material comes from all of you. It is your fraternity that simplifies content and puts it out there. Then I just pick it up and dumb it down further and make it stupid and funny. The turnaround is quick because I did radio for about 7-8 years, and I think it kind of teaches you and trains you to start thinking every day, and more importantly, it starts getting you to think 1 minute, because that's the only airtime you're allowed, because everything else is just advertisements and songs in between. So I've been conditioned well, I'd like to believe.
Okay, so tell me about your characters. What's really funny is your voices, and they're very Bengaluru voices, but everyone is finding them hilarious. So how do you come up with these characters? Are these characters you've lived with for a while?
Yeah. Yeah, they're all friends. And I'm sure you can tell from the way I speak, I am from Bangalore, right? I went to a school here in Bangalore called Frank Anthony Public School. Then I went to a boarding school in Coorg, and I was surrounded by these people. For example, that lady who goes, "Hi, Jaya. Jaya, you know what? My sister's coming from Delhi. That's my mother." That's my mother. She was so stressed about the parlor. She was so stressed about the domestic help not coming home. Or the fact that she would just call her every 4 days to check if she was okay. And I'm like, Mom, call us as well to check if we're okay. It's just people around me. Or like, for example, a Jaya going, "Kya dide, wo mere pet mein thoda dard hai dide." That used to be a domestic help of ours who stopped working at our place and eventually moved on to greener pastures, I hope. So it's basically people around us. And I think sights and sounds exist. It's about being observant, and it's about absorbing and then producing. Because when I was very small, I went to an ophthalmologist with my mother. And on the wall, I saw a board with Albert Einstein doing this.
Yeah.
And it says, "A good speaker is a better listener." So I think it's just that. And I put that into practice for the last, I don't know how many years of my life. And everything that you see today is just people inspired from people that I've met in the world.
So how do you pick your topics? How do you pick your topics? So I see that you turned around very quickly on flights being opened or alcohol shops being opened. What do you do on dry news days? How do you pick things that you think will resonate with everyone and then weave your characters in?
So fortunately, we live in a country where there's so much happening, right? It's so dynamic. Things constantly keep changing. Like I remember when our honorable Prime Minister did his speech, I turned around with the video in 45 minutes or half an hour.
Yeah, that's the one that got you famous. That's beyond the people who already knew you. That's the first one that I saw, at least. And that was quite hilarious, yeah.
Great, I'm glad. Thank you. Also, the sonic boom sound that happened in Bangalore, even that I turned it around in about half an hour, 45 minutes. One, you need to know that I'm always glued to my phone with news channels and handles. I follow, I'm not one of those people who will go up on Twitter and be like, "Oh, but where were you in 1937? Or where were you in 100 BC?" I'm not that person, but I at least have a basic understanding of whatever is happening. I try and keep myself informed. And the scripts and the lines just come to me naturally. So the moment I see a piece of news, I can just like immediately concoct a bunch of stereotypes talking about that news. I don't know, call me mad or call me just a genius.
Okay. I see. The humility has also come up with all of that
No,
success. But you,
I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm
no,
kidding.
no, but that's great. That's great. You have to have that kind of bit. Tell me what the lockdown has meant for you otherwise, and has this been also a way for you to elevate the pressure for yourself? I mean, this is a tough time out there for anyone who's an actor, a stand-up comic. We don't know where things are going.
No, not really. No, I've been doing this for the last 10 years, and I've been at this for the last 10 years. I've had, viral success in different patches and doses. I used to do these prank calls that went nuts on WhatsApp and here and there. It's just that it becomes a little hard sometimes to put a face to the name or the face to the voice because you don't see the person. But this was never a point of pressure for me because fortunately the grounding that I get from my ecosystem is so strong that when this whole thing broke out, the first thought was, geez, we're so lucky that we have so much and we can still sustain for more than a year without really being worried when there are so many other people out there who have so much misery. So it was never about pressure.
Yeah.
This is the only thing I know how to do. This is the only thing that I have done all my life. So, well, I just decided to turn that into constructive energy and do stuff that would keep me engaged. And now it's keeping a lot more people engaged. So, I'm
So
just
who's your favorite character that you relate the most to, and why do they keep laughing? What are those laugh intercuts?
they're just stupid. They're just stupid. Because I feel like laughter is a part of every conversation between friends, right? You invariably will end up laughing. So the kind of stuff they're talking about as well, like in today's video about flights, I'm like, dude, so everybody gets a window seat, oh, and everybody starts laughing because that's a conversation that everybody's had at some point, right? And the amount of rumors that have gone about saying there'll be one person in one row, there'll be two people, middle seat will be empty, alternate rows. I've heard so many theories. And this is even before news broke out. Because fortunately, I have friends who have their own little theories and versions of this coronavirus. And it seems like it's the same theories and versions that everybody has, right? So if I have to pick a favorite character of mine out of the lot, it becomes really difficult because I think all of them in some way are my children that are just born out of this brain. And I'd like to believe that all of them are on an equal footing. I can't do a video without the drunk guy. I can't do a video without the Bangalore boys at the beginning. I can't do a video without the odd girls who show up every now and then. I think all of them are extremely important. And that's the beauty, right? It's the diversity and just the pyramid which is just there, and everybody is important.
You
And
know,
all of them bring in a different opinion. Like the rich lady going, my sister's coming from Delhi, and her house help going, chal ke aa raha hai kya didi? It
yeah.
just shows two contrasting views on the same subject.
That's what I found fascinating, that you weave it in so subtly. This is a time also which in which everyone has a voice, has an opinion,
Yeah.
and find it very important to take a strident position on each and everything. I mean, you say what you have to, but that's not what it's all about. It's more about entertaining people.
So I've never believed in rubbing information onto people's faces. I don't think that's important because I think the audience is intelligent, and sometimes as creators we tend to test their intelligence by spoon feeding them. I think they get it, and also the fact that there are already change makers in the society, right, who lead us from one place to the other. But what makes these, what I personally enjoy doing is just going to the surface of a conversation and leaving from there, because I think a certain amount of reflection has to be done by the viewer or the listener. Because one of the basics that I learned when I was with radio for such a long time was you always create a visual theater. You create a theater of imagination in the listener's brain. And I try and do the same with the content that I make now as well. There has to be a certain amount of reflection that that person has to go to. I did never, and I'm not kidding you when I say this, it wasn't conscious. It wasn't like I will add this and make it social commentary. It was never that.
Okay.
It just became that because probably that's how I naturally think, and people around me see it the same way as well.
So what are your big topics that you want to look at? What do you find really interesting happening right now? And will you do a little sketch for us?
The whole RBI thing with the moratoriums being extended for 3 more months.
I was going to ask you, but then I thought, yeah, is pe kya joke banayenge? That's actually our lead story today.
Yeah.
It's such a heavy subject.
Yeah. There's so much.
If you can do a skit out of it, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I'll tell you. You'll see it in the video tomorrow. But you can play this as well if you'd like to. But I'm very sure the conversations in Bangalore right now are macha. I thought 2020 is damarda. No, dad. 2021 as well. Really, 2021 also gone. No, macha recession. No, I think those are going to be the conversations, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be funny. I mean, like for example, they're saying house loans are going to be cheaper. So just Didi going, Jaya, do you know house loans are going to be cheaper? And Jaya going, Didi, par mera ghar to flyover ke niche hai, Didi.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually Jaya's one of my favorite characters as well. That's fantastic, Danish.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Keep the laughs coming and keep it going. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, that was Danish Sait for you, bringing a smile to your face. And yeah, thank God it's Friday. We'll see you back here on Monday.